To get regular updates, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon. Hello friends, this is Manohar Veera from ExamBin. Welcome back to the third and last session on United Nations Brief Overlook. In the last session, we have seen about the 6 major organs of the United Nations and how it is operating. Before getting into the video, hit that subscribe button and get latest episodes from YouTube alerts. In addition to 6 principal organs outlined in the previous session, the United Nations system includes a number of other committees, funds, programs, and agencies. The work of some of these bodies is often featured in the news, like the World Health Organization, UN Refugee Agency, and World Food Program, for example. Others are less well known. Those featured below give you a flavor of the breadth of the UN's activities. The Human Rights Council is an intergovernmental United Nations body made up of 47 countries. It is responsible for the promotion and protection of human rights around the globe. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is the UN official tasked with this mandate. The Commissioner supports the work of the Council and UN's human rights treaties. The International Telecommunication Union is the UN's specialized agency for information and communication technology. It works on issues such as access to the internet and internet governance, the allocation of radio spectrum and satellite orbits, and connections between telephone networks around the world. The International Civil Aviation Organization is the UN agency responsible for aviation regulations and practices. It ensures that today's air network, which operates nearly 1 lakh flights a day, operates safely and effectively. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime leads global efforts to fight illicit drugs, organized crime, and terrorism. The UN Office for Outer Space Affairs promotes international cooperation on the peaceful uses of outer space. It maintains a register of objects launched into space, provides training on technology, and helps to provide satellite images during natural disasters. The one most important function of United Nations is finance control of the United Nations functionalities. The work of the United Nations is financed by member countries through 3 budgets. Number 1, the regular budget. Number 2, the peacekeeping budget. And the last one, voluntary funding. Payments towards the regular budget are compulsory for all nations, although these differ widely. For example, the United Kingdom and United States pays at most 6 to 10% of the annual budget, whereas smaller countries in Africa and Asia is going to pay only 0.001% to 0.5% of the annual budget. Payments towards the peacekeeping budget are not required for the poorest nations. To make up for this, the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, those are China, France, Russian Federation, United Kingdom, and United States, make extra payments. If a member country becomes 2 years behind with these compulsory dues, it loses its vote in the General Assembly. Although this can be ordered to relax this requirement in individual cases, the General Assembly will override these conditions. Many countries routinely make late payments, making it very hard for the United Nations to carry out its work. Voluntary funding is used to finance the UN's development and humanitarian programs, such as the United Nations Children's Fund. Countries may choose which, if any, of these programs they wish to fund. The United Nations shows strength on paper, but not in reality. Is it true? The founding of the United Nations in 1945 symbolized the hope of a war-weary generation for a new era of international cooperation that would bring peace and progress to humankind. This promise has been partially fulfilled. The United Nations has proceeded over significant advances in international law, developed mechanisms for peacekeeping, built programs for poverty alleviation, and facilitated the peaceful transition to independence of scores of former colonies, radically changing the makeup of today's world. But many have been left behind. While the United Nations has helped to foster economic and social development, major disparities remain within and between countries. 1/5 of the world population still subsists on less than €1 of income a day, and millions lack access to basic necessities. And a mixed record in resolving conflict and preventing mass atrocities has blighted the organization's reputation. At a time when many countries are turning their attention inward to domestic concerns, some commentators have predicted the demise of United Nations. Others countered this view with descriptions of the organization's indispensability in a rapidly globalizing and interconnected world. The truth is somewhere in between. The United Nations will never fulfill the hopes of its most ardent advocates, and its inevitable mistakes will continue to provide fuel for its detractors. But as a place for nations to convene, as a setter of important global norms, and as a provider of key services from emergency food relief to human rights monitors and peacekeepers, the United Nations will surely remain a significant actor in the years to come. Unlike its predecessor, the League of Nations, it has proved resilient and adaptable, surviving repeated divisions among its members. On the emergence of other multilateral bodies, this is because the story of the United Nations is not merely that of its constituent parts, it is the story of the international community. By combining broad membership with privileges for the powerful, by giving smaller and poorer countries a platform and voice, and by working with new actors such as NGOs and businesses, the United Nations has managed to foster the development of an international community, which is now expected to address both immediate crises and longer-term problems. There is certainly no shortage of challenges that require international cooperation. The United Nations, both flawed and indispensable, will continue to be called upon. We at Examine hope the world will become more peaceful and powered with knowledge in the coming years with the help of United Nations. With this, we have come to the end of this series on United Nations. You could have a different view on United Nations. Please comment what you think about United Nations in the comment box below and let us know your views also. Subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this. We also do daily video vocabulary, which you will find very useful to know new words from the Hindu editorial and get to know it visually is pleasing. Thank you.